Hey guys, it's your boy Pat. Welcome back to the next episode of the Hollow Down Cigar Lounge. We got one of our OGs, Justin, down here hanging out with us while we welcome a actual good friend of ours, Dave Yancey, Leaf and Grain Society. What's up, my man? How's it going?
Man, it's going good. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely.
Yes,
and
sir.
I tell you what, it's a little different being on this other side. I'm used to being where you are, Pat. You know, to where I'm the one that's like, okay, now you guys ready? Now remember, don't talk when everybody's, when we're not on screen.
Right. The logistics behind the screen that nobody else gets to hear about until we complain about it.
Well, people don't know what it takes to set one of these up and run it unless you've actually done it.
Facts. Well, I agree with your pre-show comment, and I'm backwards from where I'm normally at down there because this is going to be absolutely epic. So I will throw this out there before we get into what's going on. Mine, Justin's introduction to you came through initially the Texas Cigar Roadshow and your friends with David Skelton, and we got through NFG, the event that y'all have all heard us talk about quite often. Great place to meet friends and different people, and that's how we met Mr. Yancey, was through those events a couple years ago now, and it just eventually we just said, screw it, let's do a show together.
Shout out to the Piranhas at Underground.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
So before, because this is not one of our review shows, we're going to do things a little bit differently since you're on the show. So before we get into it and start talking about what we're smoking, what we're doing, Dave, give the people a little bit of background about where you come from. I referenced Leaf and Grain Society. Tell them what that is if they don't know, and kind of what brought you to this space in cigars, man.
Well, my story with cigars goes back many years, probably more than some of you guys have been around. I've been smoking cigars for 34 years now. So
wow.
I had my first cigar back in '92, and it was a Cuban. And then that was brought to me by the youth pastor at the church that I was working with. We worked with at-risk kids at the church. Okay. And he went down to Cuba for a mission trip and was able to bring back some cigars. And so he brought us back some Cubans. Now, whether or not they were real Cubans, I mean, this was 34 years ago. Right. I have no idea. Knowing what I know now, I would say probably not. The guy probably got bamboozled. But anyways, I loved it. So I went out and bought my very first cigar. And being in Texas, we go big or we go home. I went and bought what was one of the biggest cigars at that time, which was the Dunhill 85, and paid $35 for it back in '92.
Jeez.
So I've been smoking cigars ever since. Well, about, let's see, I want to say it was around 2015, 2016, I got into really started recognizing flavors in cigars. Before that, I was just smoking them just for the enjoyment, but started going to a local cigar lounge in the area, not underground, and I don't want to mention the name, but a local cigar lounge, and was having, having a cognac or, some type of drink with it and with a cigar, and I noticed how there was a difference in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. Didn't really play too much into it. And then in 2019, I was at CI that's up here in the colony.
Yep.
And I was smoking a Laura Aurora Ruby, that comes in the tubo. So it was a Laura Aurora Ruby. And I was drinking a Cigar City cigar malt. And I took a draw off the cigar and then took a drink out of the beer. And I was like, okay, now wait a minute. And everybody else around the table, there's about 5 or 6 other guys around the table. They're like, what's going on? And I said, this is incredible. The way the cigar impacts the beer and the way the beer impacts the cigar, there's something to this. And that kicked off the whole thing about pairing. Well, in 2021, because it'll be 5 years this year. In 2021, I started getting onto Instagram. It really was, because we were in lockdown. Pretty much, we were in lockdown.
Right.
So I was doing Instagram. I was going live on Instagram, talking about cigars, talking about pairings, and then Ash Red. You guys know Ash Red.
Yep.
She's really well known. She started doing the same thing, and I was like, why don't we do something together on this? And then we got in touch with Matt Harris, who's known as Spice Man, and reached out to him and said, hey, we want to do something about this. And thus Leap and Grain Society was then born. And so what Leap and Grain Society is it's all about pairings. And we'll get into what pairings are, what that means in just a minute. But so my background is cigars and whiskey and wine. Red's background is around cigars, whiskey, and beer. And Spice Man, well, he's a classically trained chef. So cigars, he's a classically trained chef, and he understands wines and beers as well, and has really started getting into whiskeys. So through all of that, we had pretty much, and Red, she knows coffees, like she's a coffee snob.
Mm-hmm.
So through that, we had every gamut covered, every pairing. So that's why Leaf and Grain. So Leaf for the cigar.
Yep.
Grain for everything else.
Makes sense.
From that, we decided to take our Instagram live shows and make it even bigger and broader. And thus the Twisted Pair that we did every week, every Wednesday for 2.5 years straight, with guests and pairings and questions, Q&A and such. We did it over, I want to say, over 150 shows.
Oh wow!
That we ended up doing. We had as many at one point in time as 300 or 400 people on our show.
Nice.
On our live show, and to the point where we had to have somebody else that was monitoring the chat to help with questions, and they would bring a question up and we would answer the question.
Yeah.
Well, the show kind of died down, life happens. And,
Mm-hmm.
My health took a bad turn and other things. And so we're talking about possibly bringing the show back. We just don't know what that looks like. We did do a magazine for 2 years. We did a quarterly magazine for 2 years, a digital magazine. We have a website, leafandgrainsociety.com, that we post reviews, we post news, we post articles. We have a gal, Terry Lynn, who's a quartermaster's level 3 wine sommelier. We've got a barista who writes about coffee. She writes about wine. I write about wine and whiskey. We've got a cigar blender who used to own his own cigar company. He used to be part of 262 Cigars. Gabe Seaman, who writes reviews. Joe Galino, who is in our chat. He used to write for Whiskey Network. He's part of the Great Lake Cigar and Pipe Show. He and I both wrote for Whiskey Network for a number of years. He writes for us and does pairing reviews with us. And so, long story shorter, I'll put it that way. Long story shorter, that's where Leaf and Grain Society came about. And you guys already lit. I'm going to light mine up. Because
I only lit up mine because it's a full Gordo, so I knew we had time.
You know, it's funny. I thought I saw your ashlet, Dave, but it was just the foot band on it. But so I was like, well, if Dave is gonna light up, I'm gonna light up. So that's why I lit up already. But
I'm gonna light. What's up, Gilbert?
Yeah. So while Dave was talking, we did see Joe jump in and say hello, and now we know who that is. And so y'all, thanks for hanging out on the show with us. And I did go ahead and light up, like I said, just because it's a Gordo, but that's all we did with it. So what we are going to do, and all three of us are going to do differently in the terms of conversation. We'll kick stuff back and forth with Dave and what he knows and his opinions and that sort of thing. But in the tone of Leaf and Grain with doing pairings, instead of this being a traditional review show, we're each smoking dealer's choice cigars with different pairings that we each have on the side. And we're going to talk about what that does with things. And they're all three cigars that we know, so that way we can talk about what the pairings do with those cigars and just see what the conversation brings out of that. So Justin, since you usually ask this question, I'll start with you. What are you smoking and what do you have with it?
Right now I've got the McFly by Oscar Valadares, San Andreas wrapper, very good cigar. I've got 3 allocated bottles. I'm going with the Jameson Triple Travel Exclusive for the first third. And then once I get to the second third, I'm going to go to E.H. Taylor, small batch. And that was on Dave's recommendation. So that's what I'm. Oh, and also I bought a little root beer instead of Dr. Pepper. We always drink Dr. Pepper. I was like, you know what? I'm going to change it up and drink some root beer. So
I've got my water here to cleanse your palate.
There you go.
Yeah, Justin, I have about 14 of that same colored cup there that you got, so I know that one well.
Yeah, good old fuzzies.
Yep. So I'm smoking. This is a cigar that I know quite well. This is Plasencia Zama Fuerte, the 1865, the black band, and I'm about to pull up Pendleton's Midnight. I have had regular Pendleton. I don't think I've ever had the Midnight, so I'm curious to see what that might.
Okay, before you do not take a drink yet, because since we're doing a pairing, I'm going to take you guys through how when I'm doing a pairing session with some people, where they bring me in to do like a tasting, in a session. I'm going to walk you through how we do a pairing.
Okay,
I love it.
Let's do it.
So we're going to go walk through that step. Now I am smoking the Espinosa knuckle sandwich, and this is the off menu version. This is the 2025 TAA exclusive. Now, the other thing that what we do, and well, Pat, is it okay if I just go ahead and jump in?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah,
All right. So what we do is we want to first know what the blend of our cigar is. And it's very important, not just the wrapper, but what the wrapper, the binder, and what the fillers are. We want to know what the regions are. And let me put this in everybody's ear. If you see a wrapper that says it's a Maduro wrapper, or if you see it says it's a Connecticut wrapper, or it's a natural wrapper, find out what the seed is. Because there is no wrapper exists from a Maduro seed. Each of those talk about a process. Well, Connecticut's also a region, but we also could call it a process. The Connecticut is actually the natural or the Claro, Claro color. Same thing with now my mind just went blank. The double Claro, the green one.
Colorado?
No.
Or
Candela.
Candela. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
all the way. Yeah.
The Candela is a double Claro. That's a process. That's not an actual wrapper. So find out what that wrapper is. So mine is a Pennsylvania broadleaf with Nicaraguan binders and fillers. When it doesn't state, when it just states like just the region, then you can be pretty sure that it's going to be either a Corojo or a Criollo when it comes to the fillers. If it's something specific, then they typically will come back and say, okay, this is a San Andreas, this is San Andreas, or this is a Habano, or, this is a, what have you. So if it doesn't state it, you can be pretty sure that it's a Corojo or a Criollo. So what we want to do first, before we even get into our drink, is we want to understand our cigar and what flavor notes that are on our cigar. I'm not going to spend too long on that right now because you guys both know your cigar, and I know what I'm going to get out of this one even before I get into too many draws.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, and what I'm pairing it with is the Smoke Wagon. Small batch.
That's a good one.
All right. Now, one question that I often ask, and I want to hear from you guys, why is it important? Why is it important to know what your blend is?
Well, besides just the nerdy, interesting fact that's conversation, that's always fun. But in terms of pairing, I would, and I haven't answered this question for you, so I'm going to say that I would think that it has to lead you down what you might expect, similar to like if you're eating a new meal for the first time, to kind of have an idea of what might be hitting your palate. It's about as simple as I think, unless I'm missing something.
No?
Yeah, I was going to say the wrapper and filler and binder probably make a difference when you're, pairing the two together. Which one will complement a rye better, or a bourbon, or a whiskey? A Jameson triple. It's got that what is that? Sherry cask, I believe. Yeah, sherry cask. I'm sure that'll go better with probably like a Claro versus Oscuro or something like that. I'm sure that's where you're leading up to.
Well, Joe says it right here. You're learning what the flavor profiles are. Okay, so if I ask you what's the difference between an Ecuadorian Habano and a Jalapa Habano, unless you are being able to associate those flavor profiles to those regions, you're not going to know. And the thing that people make a mistake on with pairings is they come back. I mean, the most common, in fact, I read an article that was put out by Wine Spectator about pairing wines with cigars. And I commented on the post that this is a very good basic approach, but there's better. And the reason why is because they said, okay, with a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Cab Franc, or a deep full flavor red, you want to go with heavy red. You want to go with a deep, heavy, full flavor, full bodied cigar.
That makes sense.
And if you're going with a white, then you want to go with a Connecticut, a lighter bodied cigar to go with it. For very basic level, yeah, that will generally work. But as what Joe said to me one day when we were talking and had him on the show, these are not cheap hobbies that we have. I mean, we're looking at probably a $20 cigar here. We're looking at, minimum of $8 for your house blends, going all the way up to, $100+ for a cigar. That doesn't even count how much our spirits are, our whiskeys are, our wines are, or even our coffees are. So if we're putting our money into it, why don't we elevate the experience?
Yeah, it's a good way to look at that.
That's why we come here and we do what we do with Leaf and Grain Society, is we start looking at how the flavors and the flavor profile can marry up with the flavors in what we're drinking. So we have to know our drink as well. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it goes beyond just saying this, I've got a 20-year-old Macallan Scotch, and because it's a Scotch, I need to go with a really nice, good, strong Nicaraguan, full pepper out cigar. Well, I guarantee you that if you do that pairing, you will destroy that Scotch, because the cigar that pepper, that will completely overpower your drink, and you'll miss everything out on the drink. And drink to cigar, the drink will disappear in the cigar.
Yeah. Too much, in simple terms, too much flavor. To keep it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just overpowers. Yeah.
Overload the palate.
A Dominican, because of the type of notes that we get out of Dominican cigars, would go so much better. So you got to know your regions. Yes, to Joe's point, there are many budget friendly and excellent pairings. Don't think that you buy in the most expensive Opus X and the most expensive Scotch, and it's going to be a good pairing. You're not. It has nothing to do with the cost. Has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the flavor profiles.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we talk about that. You take the pairings out of it. We talk about that with cigars. Like, yes, you got good $20, $30, $40 cigars, but we've smoked and reviewed some damn good $6 cigars as well. So the money doesn't always simply equate to expected quality and flavor. So
what kind of notes are you guys getting
about with your pairings? It's going to be the same concept.
I'll let Pat go first on the pairing notes.
All right, so we good to. So which way do you want us to do this first, Dave? So I want to run this the way that you like to do it.
The notes that you're getting down on your cigar here we now should have a nice ash going, so we're getting into it. We've gotten past the burning of the oils of it if you hot lit. So what kind of notes are you getting on the cigar itself now?
So this one, to me, I get a lot of like nutmeg type spice with a little trickle of I'm gonna say cocoa. I don't want to quite say like the sweet chocolate if you're comparing the two.
What about cacao, as Dave likes to say?
Cow.
Cacao.
Cacao.
We still reference that often.
Mhm.
So
That was on. We did that.
Yeah,
yeah,
the
I think
Texas
that
roads.
wrote
Yeah,
for me on the twisted on the Texas Cigar Roadshow.
yep.
yeah, with David. Yeah, that was a good show.
I normally get, and I'll see if it stands true. Right now, I get some of that like nutmeg type spice, a little bit of cocoa. I usually get some nuttiness in this, but as it burns down, so that is not there yet.
Okay. All right. Justin.
Right off the bat, a beautiful white pepper retrohale with some slight graham cracker note, and I think I want to say like a sweet bread, but not like a pastry bread, not like a sweetened bread, not like a honey roll or something like that, but more like a pastry bread. That's at least
Okay.
what I'm getting in the first.
All right. Now let's put the cigar down. Whatever
Yes,
you
sir.
have to drink not whatever you have to drink to cleanse your palate, not your pairing juice. So let's cleanse our palate a little bit.
I should have brought water.
Mm-hmm. I should have told you to.
I can pull out one of my ice cubes and suck on it.
No, you're good. You're good. The reason why we do this, why we cleanse our palate, is because we want to know our drink next.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then once we know our drink, now again, you guys know your drinks. I know mine, but we're going through the process of it. So
Okay.
let's go. Let's take a sip of our drink, and let's talk a little bit about what kind of notes we're getting out of the drink. Think
What's up,
about if
Ted?
you know how to retrohale your drink, then do that as well.
Okay, how do you do that? I've never heard retrohale in your drink.
You're breathing in while you're drinking it. While you're taking a sip, you're breathing in through your nose.
Mm. Okay.
You know, first of all, for this drink, considering I've never had it, that was smoother than I anticipated it to be. Usually, when you hear a black or a midnight or a dark, it's a little extra spicier, a little more potent.
A little punchy.
Yeah, and it's this is going to be interesting. This was by accident because I've never had this, but there's trying to pull this off my tongue. It's almost like a sweet cinnamon-ish note to it. There's not heavy spice or pepper like I expected it to be.
A lot of people associate rye with spice. Okay, and they immediately want to start thinking peppery spices. One of the common types of notes that the ryes are known for is your stone fruits. So we'll get, you can get apricots, you can get peaches, you can get blackberries, raspberries. Those are both stone fruit notes as well.
Does fig fall into that? Because I usually kind of get like a figish type.
A fig will fall into that because you've got to think about it. A fig is a fruit where it's the core of it is the seed itself, right?
Yeah, you're right.
That's a stone fruit. So that is actually one of the most common notes that we get out of it. But we also get, when we talk about spices with rye, they're more cooking spices. We can get peppers, we can get black pepper, white pepper. You can actually get peppercorn or some of your pink pepper as well, which is a sweeter pepper. It's not quite as ripe as the black pepper. Okay.
Right.
So you can get each of those out of the rye as well. And if you think about it, when you're drinking a high rye bourbon, now you're mixing in that sweet honeysuckle, breaded notes, along with the caramel that now gets mixed in with that. And that's why rye-backed bourbons are so complex.
Okay.
See, with
So
the triple I get right off the bat orange peel, like a dried fruit, maybe like a cranberry mixed with like a date.
mhm.
Very, very, very different, very refreshing. I've always loved the triple travel exclusive. It's fantastic.
Hmm.
It's different from the normal shelf, the over the counter type stuff that they sell at specs.
Yep.
This one is
It
only
is
at the
so much better. The over the counter standard Jameson is your entry level into Irish whiskey.
mhm.
Now you're tasting with the triple. Now you're tasting what Irish whiskey is meant to taste like. That's like having a Redbreast 16. That's
Oh
when
yeah,
you're
that's a good one.
getting in it into your really higher quality Irish whiskeys. And what you just described is a classic Jameson note.
Okay.
If you had not described that, I would have been saying, put the bottle back, let's get something else.
All
Now,
right, before my cigar goes out, I'm gonna take a
okay, now, so after you take a draw of your cigar, immediately take a sip off of your Jameson. Take a sip off of your drink.
oh, those flavor notes got brighter. Almost like a vanilla mixed in with all that, with that dried fruit and that date. Yeah, I like that.
The cinnamon ish, I'm using ish because I'm not 100% sure if that's where I want to stay in, but the cinnamon note that I'm pulling out of the Pendleton just like tripled the nutmeg that I'm getting off of this. So that definitely blended those two together for sure.
Good. All right.
Like
Do
a
that
magnifying glass.
do that a couple more times and enjoy it. And while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about different types of pairings that we end up with.
Yeah.
So we end up with one that we call a complementary pairing. Complementary pairing is to where the cigar is going to enhance a note out of the drink that is already present. Okay. So say like, taking the drink of the cigar, then taking a sip off of your Pendleton, and those cinnamon notes just really come forward.
Right.
Okay. That's a complementary pairing. A contrast pairing is where the cigar will bring a note that was hiding in the shadows in your drink. It was there, but it wasn't very prominent. It was just kind of sitting back there, hoping that you see it. Contrast pairing is going to say, all right, you get up here, you're now forefront. And then the third type, which is very rare to get, is what we call the balance pairing. And that's where they just both come together and meet each other. One doesn't really enhance the other. So the cigar doesn't really enhance everything. The drink can stand on its own. The drink doesn't enhance anything in the cigar. The cigar drink stands on its own, but neither are overpowered.
So both like equal partners.
Like a perfect marriage.
I'm like, okay.
That's a balance pairing. And then you have a pairing that just doesn't work. That's where the cigar just overpowers the drink or makes it bitter, makes it unenjoyable, and vice versa. One thing that I want to say, and this is very important, so all the viewers, please think about this here if you're still on with us. If a cigar does not taste good with your pairing, or you're pairing it with something, you're not paying attention to it, and the cigar is just not smoking good, the flavor doesn't feel right, change the drink. Don't necessarily throw out your cigar. Change the drink. Change it to, maybe just go to straight water or something like that. Don't throw away the cigar because it could be the pairing that is making the cigar not enjoyable. Same thing with the drink. If the drink is just not enjoyable with the cigar, change the drink or finish that cigar with a different one. Come back to that drink with a different cigar.
I like that.
I like the McAuliffe ready with that Blanton straight from the barrel too. Yeah, that McAuliffe that we did with it, that was so good.
The McAuliffe White is
missed out
amazing.
on that one.
The McAuliffe White is the one McAuliffe that I have not yet pulled out and tried yet.
It's so good. You'll like it.
Is it okay?
It reminds me of the El Rey de Mundo appointment.
Really?
But better.
Yeah, okay.
And we both really like the appointment, so I actually like the McAuliffe White better.
Interesting. All right. Cleanse your palates, put the cigar down. You're going to pick it up again really quickly.
He's like, don't worry.
Get your palate cleansed. Now we're going to go drink the cigar.
Okay.
So we're going to take a sip of our drink, get it coated on your palate really good. Take a draw off your cigar now.
See, when I did that white pepper came through instead of the fruit. So that's really cool. That's really cool how it transitions when you do drink to smoke and smoke to drink. So into that, took a sip of the Jameson and smoked. That white pepper was the first thing that just blew through my whole palate.
I'm trying to pull this out. So where cigar to drink amplified the nutmeg, this way, the cinnamon notes that where I was saying I thought it was cinnamon, it's definitely cinnamon. But doing it this way, the cinnamon is super strong. However, this is fun because I've smoked this cigar countless times, and now there is almost, and I always say that there's spice, but I always reference it almost like a cooking savory spice.
Yeah.
There is a sweet spice coming through that I don't think I've ever recognized other than this pairing.
So this is where having a pairing wheel or a notes wheel in front of you would be very helpful. And out on our website, we've got one that we put together that I took a notes wheel for cigars. Then I took a notes wheel for wines, whiskeys, and coffees, and I combined them. So whatever was on the other three that wasn't on the cigar notes wheel came in. So I brought in the deltas. And so it's a large wheel that combines all of that. And so what you do, and this is how we train our palate. There's two ways that you can train your palate. There's a lot of people out there that try to do it all scientifically, because every single note, every single flavor that we get is some combination of 5 chemicals. I can't remember which one of those chemicals are, and don't get me lying trying to quote them, but there's 5 chemicals that whatever combination of those will create a particular flavor, a particular note. Now, what I like to do is I teach people the psychological way. Everything we do in life creates a memory. Everything creates a memory.
Mm-hmm.
When we have that notes wheel in front of us, and like you just said, Pat, when you took it from drink to cigar, you came up with something sweet, but you can't place it. Some kind of memory came in from there. So now you focus in on that memory, look down at that notes wheel, and see where you're drawn to. Are you drawn into more of your woodsy types sweet? Are you drawn into your more of your floral type sweet? Are you drawn into your more of your cooking spices type sweet? Where are you drawn to? And now you're starting to train your profile, train your palate on what that note actually is.
Yeah, with the wheel, you can really dial it in.
With the wheel, you can really dial it in. Here's the myth I'm going to bust for everybody.
Okay.
The myth is everybody's palate's different. I call bullshit on that.
Okay.
Everybody's palate is matured differently.
Oh, okay.
But you're not going to taste a tangerine, bite into a tangerine and say that's a tangerine. And I come back and I bite into a tangerine and say it's an apple.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Not going to happen.
Yeah.
A tangerine is going to be a tangerine is going to be a tangerine. Now, there's subtle differences between a tangerine and an orange. So you may bite into that tangerine and say this tastes like a tangerine. And I may bite into the tangerine and never had one before and say, oh, this reminds me of an orange. And say this must be an orange. And you go, no, it's actually a tangerine. And now I can start associating that flavor to what it is. Same thing with your different types of apples and so forth.
I just snagged this, and if anybody's watching, y'all zoom in. This is his flavor wheel that he's talking about, and depending on what you're watching this on, zoom in on it. But you're referencing in this. You talk about like on mine, it brought out a new spice, but I wasn't 100% sure what it is. Well, you've got it broken down between your aromatic spices and your earthy spices. So I like that because we talk about sweet and savory, but you break it down here. So like if you're trying to figure something out, you can kind of step it and figure out like, oh, well, is it dry, earthy, or is it, flavorful, aromatic? And you can kind of work down in this way. Like obviously I was getting the cinnamon, but I kind of get that like mint clove, but not quite all the way to full clove. So it kind of gives me a direction to work in as I'm trying to figure this out. So that makes sense. And I've looked at this wheel, but in this perspective, I like the breakdown because there's a bunch of different wheels out there, but I like how you've got this organized where it's tiered and categorical in a sense as well.
Yeah, you've got your main groups such as fruit, wood, grain, spice, sweet, floral. Then it breaks it down into smaller categories, and then even drill down a little bit further. That it's you've got really where your drill down is. And so we start at the center, and we work our way out from it. And as you can see on it, so like in the fruits, you've got some things that are going to be sweet. In your floral, you've got some things that are going to be a little bit on the sweeter side. On the sweet, yeah, they're all kind of sweet, but you've got different types of sweetness, from your buttery to your baked to your candy, all the way around it.
Yep.
Gil, I tried sending the whole website to you, but YouTube would not let me do that and block the comment. It's Leaf and Grain Society, like I spelled it there, .com. And then if you go to the download section, it's listed in there.
And if you are watching this show, once we repost it, I will make sure that overlay is there again in case anybody's having some issues. You can steal that screenshot. But it is because I was able to just snag it off your website to show it real quick.
I appreciate that. So really, this is the basics of how when I'm doing a pairing review, or Joe's doing a pairing review, or if Gabe is doing a pairing review, or David Skelton from Texas Cigar Roadshow, when we do a pairing review, we go through this. I mean, you guys were there. We did one with you. We went cigar to drink to cigar, and we talked about through it.
We did the Abina sodas. Those were amazing.
Yeah, with the Abina sodas, Brian, they are amazing.
Fantastic.
When I'm doing a review, when I'm really learning what this pairing is all about, I eliminate all distractions. So I separate myself from everybody around me. So I don't have any distractions on it. And I break this down. And so just like what we did on this, I do that on the first third, then I'm smoking it, I'm enjoying, and then I go as I get into the second third, I do the same. And as I get into the final third, I do the same. And then it's what my overall feeling about the whole experience of it was.
Right. And
Now, we did. Oh, go ahead, Pat.
no, you're good. I'm just stumbling through some thoughts. Go through it.
I was just going to say, we did drink to smoke and smoke to drink. But then remember on the Texas Cigar Roadshow, we did a third, which was, do you guys remember?
I know because you do it a lot. Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I love the smoke a drink.
And this is where if you have a Glen, it works really good.
Yes.
Or if you have one of the glasses that we use on the show, aged and ore glasses. But you take a nice, good, long 4-count draw.
Yeah, this is a little tough in my square glasses, but we try it anyway.
I give mine a little swirl. I let it sit.
See how it's sitting there.
Oh, yeah.
That is beautiful. Yeah, Joe, you're right. Headphones. Put your headphones on. Put some music on. And one of the things that Joe does is that when he does a pairing, he picks out some music that goes with that pairing.
Oh, that's cool.
So he talks about how the music works with it.
And I'm a huge music nerd all the way back to being a drummer, a drum captain. I've written music, been in bands. Like, I'm a huge music nerd. Sometimes it gets me in trouble because I'm always humming, tapping, doing something. So I appreciate that connection. And I've done that without actually thinking about it, because as soon as you said that, it was like, there's been a lot of times I've been in the mood for whatever the vibe of, whatever this is bringing me. I'm listening to that style of music, but I don't think I've ever actually done it on purpose.
I do it with Cubans. So I listen to Cuban music and smoke a Cuban, flamingo music type of stuff. Just it gets me in the mood. It makes me think of the country and what's happened to it and the soil and the farmers and everything.
One for you then. I got one for you. Go and find an Avo cigar, AVO.
Yep.
I have one in the humidor.
All right. And go and find some of his music and listen to his music while you're smoking his cigar.
I didn't even know he made music.
I did not either.
He does. He's a jazz musician.
Okay. All right. I think I have the Connecticut. I forget which one it's called.
A Cuban jazz musician. And Avo is done by his sons now, because we lost him a number of years back. He passed away, and Davidoff bought Avo and is keeping the tradition up with it.
We are a fan of Avo on this channel.
Yeah, we
love Avo. Great cigars, some of my favorite from Davidoff.
We really liked it was the Heritage, right, Pat?
Yeah, it's that.
The Heritage had this really amazing chalky smoke that we always reference on the podcast. We always go back to the Avo Heritage. It's a really good cigar.
It kind of became our staple baseline when we're comparing like flavor notes, but if we're comparing a chalky texture, trying to discuss if it's too dry or if it's too bitter, because that Heritage has like that perfect chalkiness as a baseline, regardless of the flavor. So we reference that as almost like our reference point.
So you know what that chalkiness and that Heritage, what that Heritage does and that chalkiness does for you?
What's that?
It creates it causes you to salivatate more.
Oh, salivate. Okay.
Yeah, and so through your salivating more, you're able to pick up even more of the flavor. So next time you smoke a Heritage, pause through it and start identifying the notes with it, and then look at the blend of it to start understanding why it is that you're getting those types of notes on it from what the blend is. So that has to do with the wrapper, the binder. If you can really find out what fillers are in there, you know, whether or not they're Peruvian fillers, Nicaraguan, whether or not they're
Honduran.
primings there. That well, it's really important is where on the primings there are. So are they Valeros? Are they you know, are they Secos? Are they Visos? Is it a Lajero? Another myth I want to bust for you guys here.
Okay.
We usually equate Lajero with peppery. Oh, this has got, you know, and this you know, like the
Usually,
cigars
yeah.
like the LFG Double Digger. It's got, you know, it's got triple Lajeros in there. And we immediately say, oh, that's got Lajeros, so that's going to be really peppery. That's going to be too much for me. That's a myth. That's a myth. The Lajero leaf itself, the top leaf, not the very top leaf, but the top leaf is just has whatever notes that seed in that region is known for is amplified.
Okay.
So if you take a Lajero from Dominican Sumatra Lajero in there, well, those sweet earthy notes are going to be just amplified because it's got all the sun nutrients in it.
Right.
And yes, your Esteli and your Condego and your Ometepe from Nicaragua, those Lajeros, yeah, those are going to be peppery, but those peppers are going to change based upon the region.
Okay.
So the Condega is going to be more that white peppery, where the Esteli is more the black peppery, and the Ometepe is going to be kind of a mixture from your white peppery to your peppercorn type. Because, and it all has to do with the type of soil that is in each of those regions. The volcanic soil, how much volcanic soil is in it, how much phosphorus or magnesium is in those soils. In Nicaragua, if it's a jalapa, it's not going to be peppery at all. It's going to be that smooth, creamy, buttery type notes, because even though jalapa is in Nicaragua, it's in a different region. It's actually up in the mountains at a lower elevation, surrounded in the middle of the rainforest. And so that's why knowing your tobacco, knowing your regions, when you really want to take this to the next level, like Joe likes to say, that's where we bring out those pairings.
And that's why this one doesn't have a lot of intense spice. It's about the only part that they disclose is that it's a Colorado, use your word, Colorado processed, but it's a jalapa wrapper. And they don't, everything else, they just say Nicaraguan. They don't disclose the details on the inside other than that it's a jalapa based wrapper. And
so that jalapa wrapper is going to be a little bit creamier than what a Esteli wrapper is going to be. And
that makes
they want to talk about the regions. They want, you know, if it's Nicaraguan, it's going to be Esteli. If it's
that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense because the Plasencia line, basically almost every single cigar that I've ever smoked always has a rose petal floral note. Almost every single cigar I've had from them, even the Black Almafuerte to the Cosecho 149, 151, the 146 that they no longer make. All of those blends all have a rose petal floral note. That's really good.
That a few times.
Yeah. You can almost smell it on the wrapper of the cigar. I mean, at least I can, but I've got a nose on me like a bloodhound.
Yeah,
but back on track. I have switched to E.H. Taylor's small batch.
Okay.
I'm in the second. This is Dave's recommendation pre-show. So
I'm about to switch too.
okay,
But
you go ahead.
Do you see what first before you do switch? Do you see why I said the triple Jameson in that first third?
Yes, it was a very good recommendation. I'm gonna remember that from now on.
Now you're going to see the difference on it with a completely different drink. So now you're going with a bourbon, a standard bourbon. So it's a rye back bourbon. It's not a high rye, meaning that the rye is not 31% or more.
Right.
It's a standard bourbon. I want to say that one's is running at 60% corn on it.
50%?
50%?
I believe so.
If it's got to be 51%. If it's 51%, then it's barely legal. 51%. A bourbon's going to be 51% minimum.
You're right. You're right. So should I go smoke to drink or drink to smoke first? What do you prefer?
Always go smoke to drink first.
Smoke to drink. Okay.
And I'm switching over to mine as soon as I finish this last drop.
Hey, so while Justin's letting this marinate, I want to bring it. He said something that made me thought on. I'm gonna backtrack for 2 seconds on the Plasencia. You're talking about regions and knowing where things come from, and I realized he was talking about that floral note, and he referenced a few, but he did not speak of the newest Coseca. And without him knowing why, there's probably a reason, because that one is not Nicaraguan based. That blend is Honduran based. It's got a different profile.
Got the 151?
Yep. So
Yeah.
without you knowing why, that's because that cigar is created with different region tobacco than the rest of them.
I love the 151.
Yeah,
I love Honduran cigars. If you really want to get to understand what a Honduran cigar is, then go out and get yourself some Cavalier Genevieve.
Oh,
I do like Cavalier. Yes. Yep. Yeah, the 151 in the Corona size is phenomenal. All baking spice, sweet bread, but not a rose petal note.
Here's another tip. If you really want to know what a profile of a cigar is, if you can, find out what Vitola the cigar was blended for and smoke that Vitola. If you can't find out what it is, then smoke the smallest ring gauge that you can find for that.
Okay.
That's going to tell you, that's going to really help you understand the profile on it.
So now that I've done smoke to drink with the small batch, caramel and pecan has really just like blown up in my palate. It's like it's gone all over the place. That slight chalkiness is still there. But yeah, that's really interesting. The first half was really bright and upfront, where the second half is more sweet and subtle and a little spicy, but not pepper spicy, more like a cinnamon spice or a nutmeg spicy.
Your cooking spices.
Yes, exactly.
And Joe, we see your comment. I'm gonna circle back around to that in a minute, so we're not gonna forget about it.
Oh, by the way, shout out to Hayden. He said what's up earlier in the comments too.
Thanks, man. My bad.
I got our boy. He's a good supporter.
So obviously, I didn't change drinks, but I'm now getting about the halfway point, which is where I normally start getting the nuttiness out of the cigar. So it is coming. So I'm gonna take a few extra drinks now that it's there and see if I pull anything different out of that. I've been waiting for that nuttiness to show up.
Another thing that you can get from the download section of our website is we actually have individual sheets of our pairing journal that we put together that walks you through this. So it's, so you've got the section to describe your drink, describe your cigar, and then you have your first third, second third, final third, and then you score it. If you're getting in, just like when you get into cigars, where we say, create a journal, take notes, what you smoked, whether or not you like it, whether or not you dislike it, and why. Do the same with this on your pairings. Take the band off. It's got room in there to to use a glue stick and glue your band in there, and know how the pairing went, whether or not you liked it, whether or not you didn't like it. If you watched the Texas Cigar Roadshow, you've seen me on there, and you've seen where with David Skelton, and David will look at me and go, "Okay, tell me what is this?" And I'll go, "This one goes down in the books," or "This one's worth exploring," or "This one, nope, I need to find a different drink on it." And there's a reason why I go through all of those, and it's all based upon my years of experience of doing this, but how the pairing went. If you find that cigar to drink is really good, but drink to cigar is kind of meh on it, then go cigar to drink all the way through it. If it's the other way around, do it all the way through it.
Right.
Yeah. So my first, I've only been smoking cigars 3 years, but the first 2 years, I wrote everything down on my notes on my phone. Just every single detail that I could possibly think of. It's all in there. I mean, I have to scroll for ages just looking at everything. And that's a good way I did it. But now me and Pat have transitioned over to this amazing app called BoxPress. And you can review the cigar. It has tasting wheels, and it does inventory as well. And it's just a great all-around cigar app that you can use to do those kinds of things. And it's kind of like a Facebook, review where you can see other people's reviews and see how they scored it, and you can compare
guys need
notes.
To reach out to them about sponsoring your show.
Oh, we've been on before.
He's on the show. We're tied in with Trevor pretty good. He's he's been making some adaptions and changes. So but yeah, we've become good friends with Trevor, the guy that the main guy that kind of owns and creates that app. So
it's a great way to do your inventory.
Because we kind of started using it so much, and we started emailing and trying to help so much, we just kind of got tied in with them. So not professionally, but just good friends at this point.
Yeah, if you haven't checked it out, go ahead and do that.
I need to check it out. I've got my spirits app that I use, and I've got my wine app that I use, but I haven't yet to find a cigar app that I like. So I'm gonna have to check them out.
Make sure you spell it right. It's BoxPressd. So it's kind of it's not the exact wording, so it's a short abbreviated. So BoxPress.
I will not before we pull off of this, I will not downgrade other apps. I don't want this to be that thing, because there's some other apps that some guys like. I used 5 or 6. I was kind of okay with. BoxPress was the first one that I went to that I was all in. And Justin uses the inventory. It's basically a virtual humidor. You can log it. I don't. That's just because I have my spreadsheet already set up with my inventory, so I've just already got it in there. But you can do your reviews. You can put as little or as much in there as you want. You can put pictures or not. You can rate it as an overall rating, or you can break it down in the 4 profiles. You can put where you bought it from. You can put the price if you want to. You can put what your pairing is with it.
The location purchase.
And it's really good because if there's something not in there, it'll let you add it, and then we can clean it up later. Or you can use none of it and just put your rating and call it a day. So it gives you the option to do it. But then if once you use it, if you're trying to remember, hey, I smoked this cigar, but I don't remember what I did, you go type it in, and you can see your rating plus anybody else that's rated it. So you can kind of see what you did before, which I like to use. The screenshots that I put in our group, even if it's a copied and pasted review, I'll try to put my screenshots from the app with it, because I'll put a note like, hey, this is consistent. Hey, this is a duplicate review. Or last time I smoked this, it burned like crap, and today it burned great. Whatever the case is, you can kind of see the track between the cigars. So
to be honest, if I tried to inventory my cigars, I would probably be spending to the end of the month
Yeah.
Constantly just putting them in there
Yeah.
to try to inventory them. I've got so many cigars. My bourbons, my whiskeys, I'm down to probably about 120 bottles.
Good Lord.
My wines, I'm down to about 50 or 60 wines. And on my cigars, I'm down to probably about 600 cigars. I was up over 6,000 cigars.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm definitely glad I started my inventory years ago, because if I tried to do it now, it would piss me off.
Yeah, that's why I won't do it. And I haven't kept up with my inventory on my spirits, and I haven't kept up with my inventory on my wines. And I need to get back into it, but health reasons. As you guys know, and some of our viewers probably know who follow me. I mean, I was in the hospital last month, and my health was really bad. And this is the first drink I've had since the April recordings of Texas Cigar Roadshow.
Okay.
So
yeah, I heard about that. I'm glad you're doing better, Dave. We all need you to stick around. We need your wisdom and guidance. But as I usually do in the show, let's get back to it. Now I'm going to go drink to cigar. Everybody ready? Drink to cigar?
Drink to cigar. All right.
Yeah,
I'm going to do too, because I've changed my pairing up as well.
While y'all are marinating, since I can't stay with the same drink, the only difference that I had with the nuttiness that's on the second half of this cigar is it's almost like a vanilla nutmeg now. Nothing else. It pulled a little sweeter tone.
Interesting.
So with mine, drink to cigar, the cigar disappears.
Okay.
It's not even there. I'm not getting any flavors whatsoever from the cigar because of the drink itself.
I've got a weird transition. Mine's so from drink to cigar. Now I'm getting white pepper and a weird licorice taste, and it's not a bad licorice taste. And I don't like. I mean, I like Twizzlers and stuff like that, but I don't like licorice by itself.
Same.
If that makes sense.
Okay, is it more of your black licorice, or
yes.
is it just okay? So black,
which
licorice,
I don't like, but this one is a little bit enjoyable because it has that almost caramel with the bourbon with that white pepper up front.
That's not surprising at all, because one of the flavors that we can get actually really that's coming out of the Jameson, and you change your drink. A flavor that is common to get out of an Irish whiskey is star anise, and that's that black licorice flavor. So it's not uncommon to get star anise out of Irish whiskey, but you switched over to
the E.H. Taylor. Now I didn't clean the glass, so it could be a little oil residue, a little bit of a mixture. I mean, I made sure that I sipped it bone dry before I poured another glass, but
that's fair.
Yeah, that's interesting. The difference in cigar to drink and drink to cigar. I like cigar to drink on the E.H. Taylor and this Oscar McFly.
And I don't know if everybody saw, this is what I switched mine to. So I switched mine to, this is, I want to say it's 23, but this is Kentucky Owl, and this is the Takami edition of it. Little story behind it. Kentucky Owl will do collaborations with different blenders from other different types of spirits. And so the Takami edition, if I can remember the guy's name, Yashi Yasuke. He is a master blender of Japanese whiskeys.
Pat's a real big fan of Japanese whiskey. Not that I'm not, but he's a bigger fan than I am.
So yeah, he does the Yamasaki. And I want to say he's done some of the Suntories.
Ooh. Okay.
But he's very well known in the Japanese whiskey world. So Kentucky Owl reached out to him to do a blending. And so they sent him a number of different samples of different barrels and asked him to blend that into something for them. So he took Kentucky Owl's barrels, they did a blending for it, and this is what it came out to be. And
Okay.
it's beautiful. If you can find it, grab it, because you'll never get it again. It's about, I want to say, it's around between $1.40 and $1.50.
Okay.
Okay.
You know,
And,
that
you know,
reminds. Go ahead.
I was just going to say in that price range. So you're gonna pay for it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very well worth it. And it has a Japanese kind of you can sense, you can taste that history in it.
Okay.
But it is a bourbon on it. Cigar to drink, really good. Drink the cigar, no. The cigar disappears.
Okay.
That what you're saying remind me of when we were on the Texas Cigar Roadshow. It was the tequila that I forget the gentleman that was off to the side with us in the audience.
Hey,
Yeah,
brother
tequila-
Justin, hold on, because he asked about it at the beginning, and I've
It's maybe no, it's not
Corazon. Corazon.
What is it?
Corazon.
Cortisone tequila.
I meant to mention
Yeah,
this earlier.
there it
He
is,
asked
yeah.
about it, yeah.
Yes. So that one, I need to find some of that. If anybody knows where that's at, please let me know, because that's probably some of the best tequila I've ever had.
Ellen found it online
Freddie
for
brought
me.
that up. Freddie brought that up for us.
Pat,
Yep.
since I'm on my phone, send me that comment or whatever, screenshot it, and so I can write that down later, because I'm on my phone right now. So I
Ellen's
can't.
got a
But
picture of the bottle she took for me when he had it there. So I'll
please send that to me, because I'm going to be on the hunt for that. I know it's a
Freddie
really
knows
hard bottle to
exactly
get,
what you're
but
looking
still.
for, so
Freddie just said, "I got you."
Man, that's awesome.
So,
Heck
so
yeah.
hook up with Freddie.
Okay. Freddie, I'll give you a shout, man. I appreciate it.
yeah, it's a good dude.
Yeah, that was some of the best
Freddie
tequila
brought-
we had had. I mean, that episode, we had so many good bottles of allocated bourbon and tequila. That it was a great day until I left and totaled my truck that day. But
Oh God, I forgot about that.
I
but
forgot about that.
but let's stay on the positive note. That those bourbons and whiskeys were so amazing. And then there was another one that was in a little bitty bottle. Which one was it, Dave? It was like my favorite one.
We did. So we also did a series of little bottles. So I brought a series of samples from
Weller?
Art of the Spirits.
Yeah.
Samples of different Art of the Spirits. I think I had 4 different samples of Art of the Spirits that
I think it was one that was the last one you had, and they didn't make any more. I forget which one it was.
It was a 135.
They had
I
a
can't
number.
remember.
Either way, that was phenomenal. But the reason why I brought all that up in the tequila is because what you were saying earlier is the different kind of companies that get together and make different spirits and stuff like that.
Freddie's got us again. Weller LaRue.
That man, he's on point. Weller
He
LaRue.
remembers.
Dude's got a memory like a steel trap.
Dude.
Stephen, yes, that's a pretty good deal for a JD10.
Yeah, that one was my favorite. Then the tequila, and then the Vina sodas were amazing.
I've seen JD10s going up in the 200-300 plus. Depending upon which year and which batch it is that you got, but that's a good price. I would pay that for JD10, and JD10 is fantastic. I love that one from them.
And for those who don't know who JD10 is, what is that, Dave?
Jack Daniels. That's their Jack Daniels 10
For people that don't know is what I'm saying. I knew what it was, but explain it to people that may not know.
That's a good price for batch 5. That's an absolutely good price for batch 5.
Freddie's laughing with the thumbs up.
I've seen batch 1 go for so much higher that I passed up on. It's like I'm just not paying that secondary.
Okay.
Let's go back if we can. Let's go back to Joe's question.
Man, get out of my head, man. That's where I was going. I love this.
All right. Well, while y'all are doing that, I'm gonna smoke my drink.
When I'll back up about 15 minutes or so of conversation, maybe more. When we were talking about regions and we were talking about or Dave was talking about knowing the cigars and the notes and where they come from. Joe threw this comment in that we wanted to come back to. He said, "Can we get into Pennsylvania broadleaf and why, in my opinion, it's the best tobacco?" So, what do you have on Pennsylvania there, Dave?
So first, let's talk about the broadleaf. Okay, so the broadleaf itself, which is now an actual seed, it's an actual type that you can get. The broadleaf was brought to Connecticut originally, and it's a hybrid off of the Criollo. So the original seed is not the Corojo. It is actually the Criollo. The Corojo is a hybrid off of the Criollo. So when the Taino tribe came out from Colombia and made their way through the Caribbean and ended up in Cuba, the seed that they brought is what we now call the Criollo. So that's the original seed. Corojo is a hybrid off of that. Now we have like the Criollo 2012, we have the Criollo 98. Those are the years for, and these are all hybrids off of that. When we make a hybrid, it's not so that we can get different flavors, it's so that we can figure out how to combat some of the insects and some of the flaws that we're finding in it. And so they'll create hybrids off of it to try to improve it to get a better smoke. So the broadleaf came into Connecticut. That's how we came up with it. That's how it is now defined as the Connecticut broadleaf. And that was actually, I think it was called the C52, because it was around 1952 that all of this took place. That seed, because of the soil that's in Pennsylvania, they started growing it there. And so the broadleaf is an absolutely enormous leaf. Yep. It's very thick as well. And so it makes great wrappers. And it's very hard. It's harder to work with because of just how thick and just the structure of it. From the broadleaf, we get a lot of earthy notes from itself. And so you're going to get a lot of woodsy type notes. You're going to get a lot of more of your dusty trail type notes from it. Some of those woodsy and earthy type notes from it. The Pennsylvania broadleaf adds a bit of sweetness to it that we don't get from the Connecticut.
Like a cocoa.
More along the lines of some of your sweeter type bready kind of notes.
That's like a sweet bread, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're going to get a little bit more of that from the Pennsylvania than you get from the Connecticut. Yeah, but yes, you're exactly. I mean, they are massive plants. That's why the family, the Oliva family, which is different. It's the same family, but it's not the same as the same one that does the Oliva cigars. The Oliva family brought the broadleaf down into Ecuador. And so we have the Ecuadorian broadleaf, which you're going to get different notes from that. The Oliva family also did the Sumatra, which the Sumatra is a hybrid off of the Corojo. Now, we also have the Connecticut shade leaf, which is actually a seed now. That is a hybrid off of the Sumatra. So Sumatra region, which is an Asian region, Indonesia, took the Corojo and started growing it there and started working it and came up with what we now know as the Sumatra. And so the Sumatra is what the shade leaf was come from. And we have Sumatra in Nicaragua, we have Sumatra in Ecuador, we have Sumatra in Dominican, in all of the regions, Nicaragua, and we have Sumatra in San Andres as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when we say
Sumatra wrapper,
when we say a San Andres wrapper, and we don't specify whether it's a San Andres Habano, San Andres Sumatra, it's a Corojo. That is actually a Corojo.
So when they say Mexican San Andreas, like that's what this McFly is. What is that, a Corojo or?
That's a Corojo.
Okay.
That's a Corojo. That's why you're getting a little bit of peppery note from it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a
That's
big
not
fan of Corojo. That's probably why I like this cigar so much. I
the,
have a whole
Coro-
box of them.
the Corojo gives us a little bit of a peppery note, whereas the Criollo gives us a little bit more of a white peppery type note to it.
Hmm.
But what
Makes
we
sense.
get from the San Andres region, because of their soil that they have there, is a little bit more of your cocoa type notes.
Yeah,
As
that's what
well.
I was going to say. I always get cocoa from San Andreas. Yeah, for sure.
Well, that
But
was a fun.
yeah, go ahead.
I was saying that was a fun like connection. Like I knew bits and pieces of what you said, but I did not know that entire track of like where the hybrids kind of morphed from. And
That's why Dave's here. He's connecting the dots.
yeah, for sure.
That's
Before the
the-
show gets too late, Pat, you know what I'm going to ask? Dave, I always ask this question for all of our guests.
He loves this.
What is the first cigar that sparked your love of cigars? Well, let me rephrase. It's a two-part question. What was your very first cigar? And then what was your first cigar that sparked the love for your new cigar lifestyle? A lot of people like to hear this and see where they came from because you've been smoking a long time. So this is going to be really interesting to hear.
My very first cigar was a Cuban. I don't know what it was. I don't even know if it was an authentic Cuban. Because I said at the start of the show, as I said at the start of the show, and I'm going to touch on Joe's comment here in a minute. So it was a Cuban, and that really got me into smoking and said, okay, I want to see what this is about. And I went and bought my very first cigar, the first one that I actually purchased, which was a Dunhill 85, which you can't get anymore. Dunhill doesn't even make cigars anymore.
Yeah.
I did find a box of Dunhill 85s online and it was a Cuban because back then Dunhills were Cubans.
Mm-hmm.
That you could have bought a box of 10, and it broke down to around, I want to say, $11.50 a cigar.
Okay.
Not bad.
So that box of cigars would be five figures. You know, what was five figures?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, I can't do that.
Right.
You know, my wife at the time, you know, I'm no longer married, so but my wife at the time would have said, "What WTF are you doing?" You know, what do you think?
We call it baller on a budget.
I've had the blessing of having of ever smoking a single Dunhill, and it was before I knew really what they were, so I can't tell you which one it was, but I remember it being absolutely fantastic.
It was most
I wish
likely,
I knew what it was.
It was most likely their aged line. So the last ones that they produced was their aged ones, and they did aged Connecticut's and aged Maduros.
Okay.
And I did find a box of aged Connecticut's, a box of 10, and I paid probably about, I want to say, $3.50 for it. Now, I was already divorced at that time, so I didn't have to justify that cost to my wife. Thank the Lord for that. You know, there is a benefit of being single, is that you don't have to justify that to your wife anymore. But you know,
you just have to justify it to your accountant.
Right.
Well, I'm my own accountant, so yeah.
There you go.
My accountant said, "Should you have done this? Does it taste good?" Yes, it did. All right then. Okay.
Justified.
Justified.
It's justified.
Now, did you guys smoke your drink yet?
I need to try it on this one because
This
pairing here is not a pairing that I would do again.
I would say out of the two, I prefer the Jameson with this McFly.
So switch back. See how the Jameson does in the second in your second.
Are you telling me to drink more, Dave? You got it.
Well, since I didn't
Twist
change
my arm.
drink, since Dave hit this earlier of whether you go cigar to drink or drink to cigar, I I didn't change drinks, but I definitely prefer this going cigar to drink because if I do it the other way, it doesn't overpower it, but that vanilla note gets a little too sweet.
A little bit too sweet.
Yeah.
Mhm. I found
Okay.
that out on the E.H. Taylor. The vanilla note came very strong and almost it overpowered the cigar.
Which I can see that because that is a little bit higher, you know. Well, one because of the age of it and that sweetness of it that we associate the vanilla with it on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I'm talking with people, you know, they say out of a bourbon, it's like, well, I'm getting vanilla and caramel on it. And it's like, okay, good. That means you're drinking an aged whiskey, you know, in a new charred oak barrel. That's like saying I'm getting leathery or earthy notes out of a cigar. Good. Okay, because you're supposed to get those. What are you getting beyond that now?
Yeah.
Because your basic notes that you're going to get out of a bourbon or an American rye or an American wheated, if you don't get vanilla and caramel notes on it, then it's probably not a bourbon, rye, or wheat. It may be an American whiskey.
And without looking on this one, I can't tell you, it's not on the bottle of how long it's aged, but what's interesting about Pendleton in general is it's technically a blended Canadian whiskey, but they finish it in American whiskey barrels at the end. So it's got that
Probably American oak.
So, but I don't know this one. I'd have to go dive. I'm not sure how long this blend is aged.
Looking at the color of it, I would probably say that's in that 7 to 9 year age.
I could agree to that. I'd have to do some digging because it doesn't say on the label.
Yeah, I would probably say it's in that 7 to 9 year age on that, and you can usually get kind of, you know, you can't apply that to American whiskeys, and you can't, you know, that classification, or to Irish whiskeys, or to Scotch or Japanese. You can't apply that typically with Canadian, but because it's aged in finished in an American whiskey, we're going to get a little bit more of that. There's reasons behind all of that, which we can get into, but that's up to you guys if we want to get into that.
We may have to bring Dave back for a second show and just talk about aging processes. I feel like we could have a whole
before you said that, I was thinking the same thing. Next time you come into town, we need to do an in-person one as well.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Let's do it.
I need to get over there again.
A little bit of my background. So I am a wine sommelier. I'm also a spirit sommelier and a cigar sommelier. I've got the certifications for each of those as well.
Nice.
So I've been really studying this in depth for about 10 to 12 years now.
Okay.
You can definitely tell. You're an encyclopedia of knowledge on flavor notes and stuff.
I've been smoking for about 17, 18 years, something like that now, but I've never really dove into hardcore on the tobacco like we started to the last couple of years. Before that, it was just I enjoyed it. I didn't. The show actually we started the show just for fun, and then I realized how much of a nerd I was about this stuff and kind of started diving into it. But I literally nerd alert. I just started the process of starting to get a tobacconist certification because I want to learn more. So I haven't done it yet. I just started the process. I'm curious to see what more I'm going to learn going through all of that.
I'm thinking about doing that too, Pat.
Diving in now. You're going to be diving in deep now.
That's what I want, because the more I hear, the more I learn, the more I want to know.
But I think that people that watch the show or watch reviews, or you have people that just smoke cigars and that's what they do. Then you have people like us that smoke cigars and we experiment, chemistry, music, everything that we've discussed. That's, to me, is nerding out. You can call it You can call it the touch of the tism or your ADHD or whatever, but we all love this part of nerding out on this culture, on this leaf right here. I mean, everyone on the spirits, we like nerding out because it's our hobby, it's our passion, it's something we enjoy. It fills our life full of happiness and stress relief, especially.
I've created 2 classifications of it. You got people who smoke cigars, and those people who smoke cigars are those ones that smoke one, maybe, one every couple of months or one a year. They're going to be the ones that go to CI and they go into the humidor, and they pick out the absolute biggest cigar that they can find.
Or the most expensive.
Or the most expensive, and they come out, or I only smoke Cubans, and they come out and they order whatever drink, and they sit there and they smoke it, and they may go, "Oh man, this is really smooth," or "This drink is really smooth. I'm really enjoying this." And then you have cigar smokers, and that's us. Those are the ones who sit down and go, "Man, I wish I could get this in a Lajero or in a Lancero or in a Longsdale. That way I can really get to understand the flavors of this even more."
That's a good point.
So yeah, we're nerds on it.
I like this comment. Said cigars are more than enjoying a smoke. It's taking part of a culture and rich heritage.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said.
After my divorce, when I was talking to my therapist, and guys out there, if you don't, it doesn't take away from your manhood to go to a counselor and to see a therapist.
I don't see one, but agreed.
Yep.
If you need one, if you're struggling, go out and get you one and see one and talk it out. It's okay for us as guys to know that we have emotions, we have feelings, and to talk it out in a safe place.
Mental health is extremely important. I agree.
Now, that having been said, when I talked to my therapist and said I smoke cigars, he says, "Good, don't stop."
Yeah.
I said, "I'm not."
We don't have time left to get into this, but people who follow our show even halfway know that there's a few things that we support on this channel that line up with mental health support. So it's a big thing. And so, but I wanted to now we are purposely going longer on this show than we normally do because we wanted these conversations to come out. But before we start kind of trailing off, when we were talking about, and you said you were going to come back to this, let me find his comment again. Joe had brought this up. We had talked about your Pennsylvania broadleaf, and he said this. He said Pennsylvania broadleaf can rescue any blend. And you had said that you were going to come back to, and I want to know what the thought ran across your brain when that comment popped up.
You can absolutely use the Pennsylvania broadleaf is a fantastic wrapper itself. But I don't necessarily agree that it can rescue any blend, because if it's rescuing a bad blend, then it's just overpowering the rest of the smoke. So it's going to be overpowering your binder and your fillers.
Okay.
A Pennsylvania broadleaf on top of a Nicaraguan is going to be good, but a Pennsylvania broadleaf on top of a Nicaraguan that has got multiple Lajeros on it, that peppery note that you're going to get out
overpower
of that Nicaraguan is going to overpower the notes that you're getting out of the broadleaf. So the blend does matter on it. So not trying to prove you wrong there, Joe, but there are blends that you can use that a Pennsylvania broadleaf is probably not going to fit very good with it. Just depends upon really, and it comes down to those fillers. Anybody who says to you that you don't get any notes out of the fillers, I'm calling bullshit out on that one too. We absolutely get notes out of the fillers. We absolutely get notes out of the binder.
Oh, yeah.
We absolutely get a big part of our notes out of the wrapper itself. But if all I'm getting is just the wrapper,
And the blend was down to begin with.
and the rest of the blend is not coming through on it, or the rest of the blend is overpowering it, and I'm not picking up those notes out of the broadleaf, it's not a good blend.
Yeah,
That's a good way
that's
to
like
look
the
at it.
difference between Lancero and Gordo. Lancero, you're getting more wrapper. Gordo, you're getting more binder and filler. So it's just
But I've smoked some Gordos and I've smoked some 660s where the flavors on them were great on it.
mhm.
But here's and this back to a statement that I made earlier. Those cigars were blended for that Vitola.
Right.
Now, if a cigar is blended for a Robusto and they use the same blend on it for the Gordo, and all they did was just add more fillers to it, then it's probably not going to be as good of a smoke as it was in the Robusto on it.
That blending ratio has changed to make the size work, not to match what they initially blended it for.
That's a great comment, Pat.
What they did is they added more Valeros or the more Secos, which are your bottom two leaves on it, which is going to bring in a lot more earthy notes to it. And they're doing that to improve the combustion rate of it. But you're missing out on a lot of what the tobacco really for the rest of the blend can do, because all they did is just pack more into it. Now,
Yes,
a lot of
absolutely.
your master blenders not going to do that.
And I love this comment down here because it lines up with the culture and heritage comment we just had. Because
Mhm.
this simulates a lot of why we enjoy what we do. It says, in the whirlwind of life, being able to hit pause and enjoy a premium cigar and pair it with a drink is a wonderful way to slow down and recalibrate. And I know we all
100%.
do this for different purposes, whether it's after a shift at work, after a rough day, or you just need to sit back and calm and relax. Like, it is probably what drives us to come back to this hobby the most, because yes, we can nerd out like you can any other industry. You can nerd out on cigars like you can on, super tuning an automobile.
Yep.
But the relaxing part of this is it gives you something to focus on, that you have the choice of how much you need to focus on it. You can nerd out on it, or you can just sit back and relax and calm the hell down. And
to be honest, 90% of the time, I go into my humidor, I grab a cigar that I want to smoke, and I go to my shelf and I grab a drink that goes with it. Now, because I've been doing this so long, I don't have to sit down and think about what the blend is. I can go, I know the cigar, I know what's going to go good with it. And I don't sit here and go through third cigar to drink to cigar. I just sit down and I just enjoy.
right.
When I'm wanting to learn a pairing, or whether I'm doing a review or I'm wanting to really get into it, then yes, I do. And it's a couple of hour long process. This is why Joe and I both said remove distractions. When Joe does a pairing for an article, or I write an article on a pairing, or I'm writing a review on a cigar or a review on a whiskey or wine, this is a multiple hour process. It takes a good amount of time. I'm talking like 3-4 hours to go through. So I'm relighting my cigar, I'm exploring the drink, I'm really understanding what it is, taking notes and so forth. 90% of the time, I grab a cigar, I grab a drink, I come out here to the patio and my balcony, and I sit down and I just relax and enjoy.
It's all about setting.
Yeah.
Yes. It just lets you turn your brain off for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll have to wrap this up, unfortunately, and we are definitely going to have to swing you back on the show at some point to talk about some other things, because the wealth of knowledge that guys like you have are fantastic for those of us who want to talk about this stuff. And I know Me and Justin greatly appreciate it. And
100%.
unfortunately, you know, Chad and Ryan couldn't make it with some scheduling conflicts. Still got to adult and life happens. But it's great to have these conversations where we can talk, because the review shows are fun, but that's the easy concept, right? Because you're talking about what you pull. This is the kind of conversation you don't get to have often, when you get to break down why you're getting these things. And it's fun for guys like us, and hopefully everybody watching that can partake in this kind of the portion of the conversations that we have, and why we're talking about the way that we talk about things. So your time coming on with us has been fantastic and very much appreciated, and I love learning, and we've learned some things on this show just from you talking that we didn't realize,
Absolutely.
which is what makes it a fun endeavor.
I appreciate that you had me on it. I'm glad that we were able to get this to work out. I'm honored that you had me on there, and I'll say that you ever want me on here again, let's do it.
Oh,
Absolutely.
definitely. I'm just a co-host, but I know Pat is just like me. He's like, yes, please, because we love your insight. We need the wisdom. We need the knowledge. And before Pat does his closeout, let me just say, subscribe to the channel, like it, go to Leaf and Grain Society Facebook page, go to the Hollow Down Facebook page. We're both are great communities. Dave's a part of us. We're a part of him.
Yep.
It's a great time. You will learn lots. It's a great community. We don't bash each other. There's no hate. It's nothing but love. It's all chill vibes. So I'm just gonna say that before Pat does his closeout.
Don't just subscribe only, but also hit that notification bell so that
hit that like button, baby.
Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification button.
Yeah, because then you'll know when we're coming back with something. We
will be back on with Dave.
We post a little shorts on YouTube every once in a while just for the fun and little hit bits, but you'll know when the shows come up. You'll know when we do things. And shows like this, our live shows, definitely
you get the meat and potatoes.
Yes, you get the meat potatoes. You get to join in with the conversation. But if you miss it, we clean up the live intros, and I repost it in a couple days. So if you miss it, you can go back and watch it again. Or if you just want to watch it again, like I know me and Justin sometimes go back and watch our own shows to relive the moments.
All the time.
So it's fun, and we like to call everybody that's in the Hollow Down group our family, because like Justin just said, we're partners with each other. We're in each other's groups. We're in each other's conversations, and it builds a friendship, camaraderie. It's not just a business venture. It builds friendships. We run into each other at events and across places, and it's like little reunions here and there. So it's a great broadening scope. So
it's a great community, family type style stuff. You know, all around good vibes.
It is. But here's the sad part. We do have to wrap it up, and I appreciate all of you guys out there hanging out with us, watching us, all those who jumped in the comments. If you're catching this show after, more than welcome. Drop comments down below. We respond to those. You can always send us direct emails at thehollowdown@gmail.com. We respond to those too. Love to hear from you. And Dave, again, officially, thanks for coming out, spending time with us.
Yes,
and y'all out there in Hollow Down land, y'all know the drill. Till next time, stay safe and hollow down.
Cheers.